All right, in our Bible is Literature course, we're exploring the different ways in which God communicates His truth to us. And one of those ways is lament. Lament, I'm afraid, is strange in our world because our world likes to think positive. Our world likes to think sometimes in a shallow way. And so we don't have an appreciation for those who lament, for those who struggle. And the laments in Scripture give us words to say when we're in situations that are hard, when we're in situations that we can't see our way through. Lament gives us words with which to approach God. So when we did this series on the genres in biblical poetry, we talk about individual lament and we talk about corporate lament. Um, Here we just wanted to talk about what lament is and how it works inside of us. So let's consider how lament kind of comes at us. Um, Lament is the response of faith to the brokenness and the fallenness of the world. So when there is sickness, when there is disease, when there is broken relationships, lament reminds us that things in this world on this side of heaven are broken, and we need sometimes a language to express that. Right alongside of brokenness is probably the cause for that brokenness. So we have lament and sin. We do not recognize sometimes the depth of our sin, but through lament, we gain both a sense and awareness and language in order to express the hopeless depth of our sin. So when we are caught in the trap of sin, when we can't seem to find our way out, and we need to come to Christ in forgiveness, lament gives us the language to understand what sin has been doing to us. And then lament is a way of expressing sometimes our inadequacy. We have no words to articulate the dimensions of our thirst and hunger and disappointment, our frustrations, our guilt, or our anger. When we fall short, when we can't seem to quite pull off a task, when we can't seem to get to God's throne, when we're struggling with the frustration of our circumstances and can't find a way out. Again, lament gives us an opportunity in the words by which to communicate that inadequacy. And then lament helps us when relationships are so broken it seems like we are isolated from each other. And so when we lament, it becomes an opportunity for us to share together our hurts and our disappointments, and reminds us that we have a God that truly cares. So lament comes at us and it gives us a better, deeper language than our society sometimes allows us. And what's funny is Psalms is filled with laments, right? Jeremiah gives us lament. There is lament all over the place because Scripture deals with us as we are. And lament is one of those things that we have to recognize and take into account. So lament, sometimes it's designed to help us to move on past the pain to hope in resolution. Each lament eventually turns to praise, revealing an important truth that has been lost. Lament is one of those most direct paths to the true praise we know we have lost. It begins the communication with God, communication that will eventually end in praise, but at least lament gets us in the room with God and doesn't leave us isolated and alone. So lament is the path of worship It takes us from where we are and it begins to move us toward a deepening relationship with God. Michael Card said, this is the value of lament, that we better understand the world around us and move from our petty laments to the laments that are deep and profound in a lost world. Grant me, O Lord, an acquaintance with such tears that the world has wept. Surely the presence of such great grief in my life would displace my small sadnesses, my petty anger, and my selfish sorrows. I like that. Christianity connects with a broken world, and lament is a part of that connection. If you would like to read more about lament, here are a couple of great places to check it out. Christina Fox has an article called The Way of Lament. That would be worth checking out. And Michael Card has a book from Navigators, Sacred Sorrow. Great places to learn more about what lament is. Thanks for joining me.